Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. Let me brush off my seat here a little bit. I don't have my hat on this morning, so you get to see my bald head when I sit down. So we'll see how that works out. All right, I get seated. I'm going to have my cup of coffee. I was looking at Luna because she seems to have concerns about her paw. She's like I think she stepped in some ants or something. And whoa, whoa, oh. Uh, okay. Uh, well, I have my cup of coffee. I have that to get the day started. Hope you have something also that you can enjoy. Hope you're having a good day. Sip away. I'm a big fan of coffee. I try not to drink it very much after like 6 p.m. If I do that, I tend to sleep pretty well. So, but other than that, I can have a lot all day long. Works out pretty good for me. My wife, not so much. She has it in the morning, but afternoon she tries to stay away from it because it might keep her up. Doesn't sleep quite as well as me. All right, so I didn't talk about something that was really good in that bill uh, that was passed just recently. They call it the IRA, the, uh, something, uh, yeah, something. I don't know why they call it IRA. It's the Deficit Reduction Act. Oh, it's Inflation Reduction Act. That's what it was. I don't know if it's going to affect inflation. I think the Fed interest rates are more important, but you got to give it a name. Everybody needs to give it a name, and that's a good one because inflation's really bad. So I can see that. But in there, in the IRA, there's a thing about Medicare. I think it's Medicare and Medicaid can negotiate with the manufacturers for pricing on things like drugs and stuff like that. Now, the reason why this is pretty important, why I really do appreciate it. Oh, dang it. I hit the post. Post is just really narrow. And I still hit it. Ah, sorry about that, Luna. So he gave me another shot. All right. But that's so I'm going to give you our empathy on this. Let me explain the system first. So the system is right now when you're Medicare, Medicaid, an individual such as myself would go out and let's say the doctor says, "Oh, Mr. Graham, you need to take this medication and it'll help with I don't know what medications do nowadays. My kidney function. My kidneys are getting old and I need this medication and it'll make my kidneys function a little bit better. And so I'll I won't have to get up 7 times to pee at night. I don't know, something like that. But let's say that. Okay. I don't even know if that drug exists. I'm sure it does. Drugs, like we have a drug for everything now. So anyway, so I have that uh, medication, and what would happen is once the doctor approved it, I signed up for it. Medicare and Medicaid would pay for it, or pay for the portion that they're responsible for. I know there's different options. I'm not actually on Medicare and Medicaid. I'm uh, I'm not quite there yet. I'm 5 years out. But anyways, I get um I get the medication and they pay the bill. Well, from what I understand, they pretty much just pay their portion depending on the price. You know, there you go. There's the pay. Now, under the new bill, what they would agree to with the medical companies, let's say it was Pfizer, they would contact Pfizer and say, look, we have to pay for this kidney medicine, not just for Mr. Graham, but for a bunch of other people. And when we pay for that medication, we only want to pay a certain amount. What is the amount that you would uh, agree to only charge and never increase that, let's say for a 3 year period? And so Pfizer would give them a proposal. And then they could go to Johnson and Johnson and say, well, you make this medication too, but you've been selling it in Europe, but you can sell it here in the US also. How much would you charge? So both of them would give a proposal for how much they would charge for that. And they could then say, well, Johnson& Johnson is 20% cheaper. So we're going to have all of our constituents use this Johnson& Johnson medication and sign a contract with them for 3 years. So that's uh, that's the system. Negotiation for all their patients, which, hey, that's a lot. It's, especially for medication, I would assume people that are on Medicare and Medicaid probably consume maybe half. I don't know. Have no clue, but a big portion. Let's say 30%. So you could hopefully keep the prices down. Now, the health part would be the same, hopefully. Hopefully, everything health-wise is the same. But we can now reduce the cost a little bit because we're now locking in less profit for the different companies. So and it would help with that. So, anyways, that's the system. I'm done explaining the system. I think it's pretty straightforward. You probably understand it. But if you want to look up more, just look up Medicare, Medicaid, um, price, Medicare, Medicaid, drug price. Um, wow, what would you look for? Medicare, Medicaid, uh, negotiation. I don't know. That probably gets you. Drug price negotiation. But now let's talk about the empathy care. I'm not going to dwell too much on care because I don't think that's there's really an impact one way or the other. Fairness, a little bit more. Let's talk about fairness. It's fair to the customers as long as there's not a true impact. Some people might argue that, well, right now I can get drugs from Pfizer or Johnson. So if there's manufacturing issues with Pfizer, I have an alternative. If you guys go out there and say, I am not going to buy anything from Pfizer, I'm only buying from Johnson& and Johnson, guess what? Pfizer might just stop making the medicine. And now you've put me in dire straits. So you might, there might be a fairness issue here. I guess that may be a care issue too. So there might be a little bit there. I agree with that. So there's a little more oversight in making sure supplies don't get disrupted by this large negotiation. Now, I think that's going to be okay. I'm not too worried about that. And here's the reason why is the US is one of the few countries that doesn't do this. Most of the countries that are, oh, I got a bug in my coffee here. Get it out. Okay, I got my bug out. Most countries are have socialized medicine, and they've been doing this. They've been negotiating. They've been trying to get their prices down and doing that. So there is experience. There are things that the U.S. government can use as templates to go and do this negotiation. So I think we'll be okay. But if it doesn't, if it does happen and it becomes a problem, we can see a true change in the U.S. That'll be, it's good because whether we say the system that you're most worried about is the ones that don't have a good empathy thing. That's why I said before I was a little concerned about uh, the 15% minimum for a $1 billion company. Not because it's not good. It's just that it's hard to get that feedback mechanism in there to see whether or not how that impacts us. I'm a little worried about that. The Let's talk about authority, loyalty, and sanctity. Sanctity is a little troubling because in the U.S. Um, we have a little bit of sanctity about the fact that if you're a company and you work on something and you produce it, you should be able to sell it. Now they're saying, you just can't sell it because you can't beat Johnson& Johnson's price. And that could be a problem because uh, one of those companies might get special support from a foreign country. They may win contracts over and over again till the other party just gives up on trying to produce that. Um, you might have problems because you're a small company and you want to produce something, and you can't compete with the big guys, even if you have a better product. So there's side concerns about how we may be stifling the competition that we treasure here in the US for medical. And I tell you what, that's probably one of the bigger ones for me. But I'm not too worried because I think that will highlight pretty quickly. We have a lot of, um, well, goodness gracious, knocked my foot right off that big old head. There we go. So, but we'll have good feedback on that because what will happen is those companies will go to the people and say, yeah, we have a good product, but you can't buy it because we got locked out by Medicare and Medicaid. Again, that's where I'm hoping a lot of the other medical places will have worked that out. But so that's sanctity, loyalty. I don't think any of us are loyal to any drug company, so I'm not too worried about that. Uh, I can't think of anything for loyalty. Authority, that's probably another big one because we were always worried about in the U.S. that you'll have somebody get in government who doesn't doesn't manage things well, and what's it's called stifling competition. So they'll stifle competition. So yeah, authority is pretty much a big one. That's a big one. So okay, but that's all over. That's pretty good. We got fairness, sanctity, and authority. All are very impactful, and they're going to affect people and their desire to make sure this is done right. So that's good. We've got a good, at least 3 out of 5 feedback mechanism. I wish care was in there too, but I can't think of anything about care other than maybe, I don't know. There might be something in the care, but fairness is in there. So, so now that's pretty much everything I wanted to say on that. Now I'm going to give you, what do you call it? Graham's great crazy drug theory. This is not proven. This is crazy Glenn, crazy, crazy theory day, crazy, crazy theory. Please do not take this as real. I am talking about this, but man, I'm just really going off of hearsay and people saying stuff. So, at my age, I get exposed to people that talk about medicine and medications, and there's people I read that are in the medical profession, and one of the things that has been a bonus for countries such as Europe, who have a lot of socialized medicine. If you go over there, there's a lot of times you'll find medications are quite less expensive than they are here, even in places like Mexico or India or a lot of places. They seem to be able to get the medications that we have in the US for a lot less money. Like Glenn, that's what we've been talking about. We need to have this ability to make them give us the medication less expensive too. All right. So this is what the medical guy said. And again, this is crazy theory stuff. So he said that's part of the way medicine gets made is the US is like a little engine because if you make medication and it's got let's say I'm making up a number. I spent $100 million on research and development. The pill itself costs $10. So I need to get back $100 million in research with interest. I don't want to throw while I'm holding my coffee. All right. So I got to get $100 million back. And I only have a limited amount of time to do it because there is after I patent the medication, there's a period of time I can do things before it becomes a generic. And then I'm going to have to make less money on it. And so $100 million, $10 a pill, and let's say it's a really good pill. So I want to make the math really easy. I want to probably sell 100 million of those pills. No, I want to sell 10 million of those pills before my patent runs out or my protection runs out and it becomes a generic. So $10 a pill, but I need 100 million back. So if you do the math, that means that I need to charge at least $20 a pill. That'll give me, if it's at zero interest, that means I get my money back that I put into it. And of course, we need to give them a little bit of uh, profit from that to pay off the interest, and because they don't always succeed, and so they also have to pay off bills where they research stuff and it didn't go according to plan. So another $5. So $25 a pill. So they get in there and they have to make $25 a pill on average. Well, we went over to Britain and the EU, and they said they won't give it to their people unless we charge $20 per person. Well, there you go. I am going to lose money on this. Not a lot, but I'm losing my interest and getting rid of all my profit. But if I don't sign up with them, they won't allow that as an option on uh, their patients to have that pill, even though it's a really good pill. And then it's, let's say it's flying colors, it looks great. But they want to pay $20. I will sign up for that because at least I will get some people over there. And let's say that half their pills will be sold in Europe and the US, Europe and Britain. So that means you got the US over here. Luckily, over here in the US, I can charge $30 a pill because there is no people over here stopping me from getting my pill out. There's no negotiation. I just offer it. And then I tell the doctors how good it is, which it is. Let's say that there's no collusion here. There's no, I know medical industry that happens. This time, let's say there's no collusion. It's a great pill. So they offer it. In the US, we pay $30 for the same pill. 20 over there, 30 over here. They get their profit back. They get their little bit of profit. They get to pay off their interest on that loan. They work out okay. They made them, that's okay. We did all right. Now I know what you're saying. We talked about fairness. That's not fair to US and to Europe. So let's go the other route. Let's say they get that pill done, and let's say that Europe says $20 and the US says $20. They basically lost money on this. So now there's a little bit more thought in whether or not I want to spend money on a drug or a program, and the possibility is I'll lose money on it because I no longer have a market like the US where it's more along the lines of convincing people or giving data to medical professionals to convince them how good the pill is. It's also convincing the bureaucrats that they should pay $25. So there you go. There's some people that are worried about that. I'm not too worried about it because I'm in good health. if I wasn't in good health, I'd probably be a lot more concerned about it. I probably should. I'm getting older, and even though Luna's watching after me, I'm afraid that she can't do much if my kid is start not working well, like the scenario we were talking about. So there you go. That's probably my biggest concern, and I'm not that concerned, but we'll find out. The U.S. has been a big gravy train for the medical drugs. It's the place where they get back a lot of their research and development, a lot of their uh, money. And I will say it, and I'm sorry to my European and British friends out there. You guys have been enjoying the fact that the U.S. has that been nice enough to pay the extra bill. But I do think that that should be going away. It's not fair. It is not fair. We all need to chip in, especially if it's the health of everyone. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that there's negotiations that'll be happening now. You're not going to want run out and get it? Okay, I'm going to throw it. She usually runs out there and tries to grab it in midair. So, oh, you know that. Anyway. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later. And stay healthy. Stay healthy.